So first of all, I wanted to thank you guys for your sacrifice, for the, yeah, give them a round of applause. I know you guys are extremely uncomfortable and cold. I can see you're huddled up and you have blankets, so thank you for doing that. I think a lot of us wish that we were able to and maybe as brave as you guys, so thank you for doing that. For all of you guys, thank you for being here to support them. I know the people at the front can't hear me, but I include them as well. And primarily I wanted to talk to the people who are here who don't want to necessarily be here, who aren't here through their own choice, and that's the police officers who are here, and maybe the people who might watch this video after the fact. I want you to know that I think that I speak on behalf of us, of everyone here, when I say that we don't want to be here. I'm sure I speak on behalf of the people who are sitting over there, that they don't want to put themselves in the, in harm's way. They definitely don't want to be arrested. They don't want to give up their freedom. They don't want to have to go to court and pay court fees or fines or go to jail. And I know about 1,400 or close to 1,500 people as part of the rebellion this week and a half have gone through that. And I want everyone to know that we don't do this because we want to, because we're troublemakers. I'll speak on behalf of myself here, and I'll tell you why I'm here, why I left a very successful and lucrative corporate career to do this. It seems crazy. I could never imagine that I'd be doing this at this point in my life. I thought I'd be saving for my retirement. I thought I'd be doing things very, very differently. And I want to tell you why I'm here. And it's because I think, like most of us, and including most of the officers, probably the reasons why you became officers in the first place is that we were raised with really good values. Our parents taught us to respect others, to defend others, to protect those who can't protect themselves. And when all of us here became aware of what's happening inside of places like this, inside of farms, inside of slaughterhouses, it broke our hearts. I mean, everybody's here, I think, because we don't know how to better deal with the sadness of what's happening to innocent, vulnerable animals. I know it sounds crazy. I know that I grew up my whole life eating animals until one day I saw a documentary called Earthlings, which just showed what happens inside these places. And it broke my heart, and it changed my life. It changed my purpose in life. And I can only imagine that for very similar reasons, you're here to protect. I know you're here to protect us. You're here to protect the public. You're here to protect the workers inside. We're also here to protect those people. And on top of that, we want to protect the animals who really have no ability to protect themselves. I know that there was a time in human history where we've had to be violent, whether it's to defend ourselves, to defend our countries, to defend those we love. I know that there was times where we had to be violent to survive in order to eat. We had to kill animals. I understand that. I was having a really amazing conversation with the two police liaison officers, I forget their names, but we were talking about how there really is no necessity anymore, especially in a country like the UK, where there's just a complete abundance of delicious and nutritious foods, where this is no longer a necessity. We don't have to do these things. We also understand that it's your job to uphold the law. We understand that this is legal right now. But we also hope, and I hope that some of you also hope, that one day we'll learn to live more peacefully, not just with each other, and by each other I mean humans, but also with the other animals that we share this earth with. I hope that doesn't sound too hippie, because I promise you I don't come from a hippie background. I don't like that label. But then I think about it a little bit, like, what's wrong with being a little hippie? What's wrong with actually spreading a little bit of love, a little bit of peace and kindness, which is what we were taught to do when we were kids, right? We were taught to be that way. And I don't know what happens to us as we get older. We get colder, we just get kind of conditioned into, just not caring anymore. But we do, because I'll bet you if any of these officers here, or anyone who has not seen the video footage, or happen to be inside of a slaughterhouse, if you've never been in there, I promise you that every single person here would either be crying or suppressing that, because it's horrible what animals go through in there. I've had the opportunity to be inside these places, to record and to film, and I feel ashamed. I honestly feel ashamed that all I could do while a fellow earthling was dying in front of me, having their throat cut open, while they were fully conscious, by the way, all I could do was pull my phone out and record and apologize to that individual that all I could do was that. Because the law, unfortunately, is not on our side right now. You know, if those were humans in there, or if they were dogs in there, all these officers would actually be helping us stop this. And I don't blame them. I understand that they have to abide by the law, right? But this isn't legal to do this to dogs. So why is it legal to do it to cows, pigs, and chickens? I just hope that you understand why we're here. I hope that the public understands why we're here. I hope that the neighbors understand that we're not here to cause trouble. I don't want to be here. I really don't. Nobody here wants to be here. Nobody wanted to pay whatever we paid, 10, 12, 15, 20 pounds to get here this morning and stand outside in the cold, you know, and use resources that can be used to, you know, fight other crimes and do lots of stuff. I mean, I just hope that you go home tonight and you understand that why we're here. That's it. And we're sorry that we have to be here. Primarily, I'm sorry for you guys, but I'm really sorry for what's going on here. You know, you can smell it. Like, none of us want to be smelling burning skin and burning hair from animals who value their lives just as much as we do, just as much as our children do, just as much as the dogs and cats that we have at home do. There's something wrong. There is something wrong with the system. And I love being a part of this rebellion because it's not about individual blame. It's not about shaming people. Because for 30 years of my life, I'm 38 now, but for 30 years of my life, I was a part of that. I didn't know any better, you know? So as this movement grows, and it will continue growing, I hope that when you attend these vigils or protests or whatever they are, whatever actions happen, I just hope you understand that they are coming from a place of love, not a place of hate. We don't have any hate for you. We don't have any hate for the workers in here. I know I say this on behalf of myself, and I hope that if anyone here does feel that hate inside, that we recognize that all of us were just as guilty of this violence. In fact, I feel I was more guilty because I was financing it. I was funding it with my money when I had the option to buy, you know, the product right beside it in the grocery store that didn't cause any of this pain and suffering, tasted just as good, was actually healthier for me too, as a side note. I was just as guilty, you know. This might sound weird, and don't do this if you don't want to, but we've given a lot of love to the people who are locked down, who are chained to that truck right now. If you want, would you join me in showing a little bit of love and understanding for the people who are, I want to say forced, but probably don't have a lot of options, because who the hell wants to work in a place like this? Can we show them a little bit of love? Look, I was fortunate enough to have a good family life. I was extremely fortunate to go to a good school, a good university, and get a good job. I never in my life had to consider working in a place like this. Ever. And I'm thankful for that. And that's luck. That is luck, because any one of us here, we're standing on this side of the fence, any one of us here could have been in there if the situation were different. I come from Canada. Canada is a beautiful country like the UK. We accept a lot of immigrants and a lot of refugees. I will not forget hearing that we were accepting refugees coming from Syria, coming from war-torn countries. And our government was taking these refugees who had come from a place of massive violence and funneling them into working inside of slaughterhouses because no Canadians want to do that job. These are people who want to put food on their tables for their families, for their kids, and they're being ushered into these horrible jobs. I've talked to many slaughterhouse workers, as I'm sure a lot of you have as well. A lot of them do not want to work here. I've had slaughterhouse workers allow me to film, to go inside, and I asked them, aren't you worried that if you let me do this, you'll get fired? And the response that one guy told me was, I hope I get fired. I hate this fucking place. It's so heartbreaking what's happening here. it's so heartbreaking that right now the laws support this, you know? And we're trying to do our best here to be peaceful, to not sacrifice our own well-being, our own freedom. But you have people like this, and guys, I got to tell you guys, I love you guys so much. I wish I were strong enough to be on that side with you. I really do. These are not officers. These are not bad people. This is, like, if I'm trying to look at this objectively, this is the type of society I want to live in. I hope it's the type of society you want to live in, where we respect each other, even when we have differences. You know, we will not be violent towards you, even though we have very strong difference of opinions in this moment right now. Maybe personally you don't. Maybe personally you might understand why you're here. You know, why we're here, I should say, sorry. But please keep that in mind in the future. When you see these crowds growing, as they will keep growing, the UK is one of the countries in the world where this movement is booming. I don't know what it is about people in the UK, but they're getting this. They're understanding that we don't have to hurt other living beings, so why do we do it? Veganism is booming here. It's booming. I don't know how many hundreds of percent year over year. You go to the grocery stores, they're filled with plant-based products. And I'd encourage anyone here who isn't vegan, next time you go to the grocery store, pick up some vegan sausages, vegan burgers, vegan cheese, plant-based milks. They taste pretty good. Some of them suck. Get the good ones. You know? And how good would you feel? Imagine this. How good would you feel eating food that nourishes your body, that tastes delicious, pizza, burgers, cheese that you love, that your kids love, that your partners love, and knowing in your hearts that you never paid anyone to stick a knife in the throat of an animal, or put a pig in a gas chamber, or put a chicken in an electric bath, to debeak a chicken, to dock the tail off a pig without any anesthetic, to cut their testicles off without any anesthetic. How good would you feel knowing you didn't pay someone to do that? You know, veganism gets a bad reputation. A bunch of self-righteous hippies, you know? Just think about that. I'm not, again, I genuinely mean this. I genuinely mean this. I wasn't like this when I first went vegan. So 3 years into veganism, I was super angry. And I was very judgmental. I couldn't understand how good people, how caring people could continue funding this once they knew about it. And I thought about it a lot. I understand we're maybe not as strong as we'd like to be as humans. We struggle. We struggle to align our values and our actions. It's difficult. It's difficult for me to go to the gym when I know I should go to the gym. It's difficult for me to buy the kale salad instead of the burger when I know I should be eating that. I know it's hard. But the one thing that I'll encourage anyone who doesn't have this alignment with their food choices is just remember that these food choices don't just hurt you. They cause massive amounts of pain and suffering that I promise you, I can't imagine any officer here taking a knife or taking a baton that you have on you and beating an animal to death or stabbing them to death for a chicken wing or for a burger. When someone else is doing it, it's easier to, you know, put it aside, to put it out of your minds. I can't imagine you guys would do that, especially given the oath that you've sworn to serve and protect others. You know, I'm sure that some of you have had to protect animals in your line of duty. It would surprise me if you hadn't. Where someone's doing something horrible to an animal, abusing an animal. Just please don't pay people to do that anymore. Anyway, just want to thank you guys for being here. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of this with you guys. I genuinely mean this for any of you who might be in the angry vegan stage where I was. I mean, we're all angry. We're all justified to be angry, but I mean, I've chilled out a little bit. But I genuinely mean this when I do honestly believe that within our lifetime, this might seem ambitious, but within our lifetime, we will see a world where animals are respected. They're treated very differently than they are now. And I won't go into my theory as to why that's going to happen, why I think it's going to happen. But I think that every action and every decision that we make now, whether you're vegan or not vegan today, every action either brings us to that world faster or it just slows it down. You know, look at the world we live in right now. Look how much better it is than what it was 50 years ago or 100 years ago. Think about the progress that we made in the last 50 to 100 years. It's inevitable. It is. We're moving towards a better world, a more peaceful world. Let's just be a part of that. Let's stop fighting it. Let's start encouraging others to be more peaceful, more kind, and more loving with each other. I know it's hard. Guys, I know it's hard. I know some of us don't agree on this. I know it's really difficult for us to tell police officers that we love them when they're the ones arresting us. I know it's hard to tell slaughterhouse workers that we love them when they're the ones killing the victims that we're trying to defend. I know how hard it is. But what else, how else do we create the world that we want if we're not showing it in the most difficult times, right? Nonviolence, we talk about this a lot in this movement, right? Nonviolence. Nonviolence is really easy when someone is not being violent towards you, right? It's really easy. Hey, just don't go around punching people. Cool, I'm nonviolent. Nonviolent is really difficult when someone is being violent towards you or towards someone you love, right? When maybe an officer steps out of line and hurts you and does something bad to you, to be able to not respond with violence or even hate towards that person, to understand maybe the stress that they're going through, how stressed they are being away from their kids because of us, right? Maybe they don't understand what we're trying to do and why we're doing this, how we don't want to be there either, right? So trying to have a little bit of understanding, not excusing the bad behavior, but understanding why that might happen. When a slaughterhouse worker insults you or throws something at you or spits on you or punches you, which has happened to many of us, I'm sure, understanding why they might be afraid that we're attacking them, that we're trying to take away their livelihood. I know it's tough, but I think that the strength of this movement, the strength of everybody here, is that deep love and compassion that we have for each other and for those who are causing the harm that we're trying to rectify, that we're trying to change, right? So sorry, I'm done rambling, but I just want to say thank you for allowing me to be a part of this. Thank you for being here. I look forward to all the actions that are coming up over the next few days. Thank you to the officers for being so peaceful with us as well. And I think understanding of what we're trying to do here today. So thank you. And again, one last thank you, big round of applause for the people inside.